There's a very special place you can visit anytime you want to. A place just for kids and friendly little airplanes. The world of JJ the Jet Plane and his flying friends. Don't miss JJ's first flight. You'll see Herky light up the night sky and get a bird's eye view of old Oscar's daring dive.
Whoa!
You'll follow Tracy through an endless rainbow and go with Big Jake and JJ on a high-flying piggyback ride. In Tracy's handy hideout, you'll meet Lucky.
They call me Lucky.
And get a close-up look at the famous sparkleberry tree.
I'd love to fly with a snowman.
Fly high in the sky with a snowman and Snuffy. Discover Tracy's favorite hiding place. And zoom down a mountain with Herky, the ski king of frosty pines.
Oh.
Now you can join JJ's fan club. Members receive a cotton t-shirt with JJ's picture on the front and an Easy Airlines pilot's license with your name on it. Join in the fun. Collect all the JJ videos. You'll be giving your child sweet dreams, wholesome lessons, and precious memories that will last a lifetime.
Way down in Terrytown, there's a special way to get around. It's the only way I've ever found to play above the ground. Zooming along the treetops, zipping way up in the sky. Zigging and zagging, forgive me for bragging, but gee how I love to fly. Zooming along the treetops, zipping way up in the sky. Zip, zip, zoom-a-loom, zig-zag, zig-a-zoom, gee how I love to zip, zip, zoom-a-loom, zig-zag, zig-a-zoom, gee how I love to fly.
2 days of constant rain finally ended, and the gray skies over Terrytown Valley turned bright blue. JJ was happy as a hummingbird to see the sunshine. He rushed out of the hangar and gazed across the valley. There, looming above the horizon like a gigantic Ferris wheel, was the biggest, brightest, most beautiful rainbow he ever saw. JJ gasped at the magnificent sight.
Wow!
Old Oscar stopped to admire the view too.
Well, and how?
He crowed.
It looks almost close enough to touch, doesn't it, Oscar?
The little jet said.
Sure does,
agreed the wise old plane.
but the fact is it's just an image in the sky. It may look close, JJ, but believe me, no one can touch a rainbow.
If it looks close, it must be close,
JJ thought.
I'll bet I can touch it.
And he decided to prove it. Although JJ was supposed to be studying his flight plans, he sneaked behind the hangar and took off without anyone noticing.
I'll get there and back in plenty of time for my training flight,
JJ told himself.
They'll never even know I went away.
But after 15 minutes of fast flying, he was no closer to the rainbow.
That's strange, he thought. I should have been there by now.
All of a sudden, clouds gathered overhead, and the rainbow began to fade. Then it started to rain again. And moments later, the rain turned to hail. Tiny pellets of ice beat down on the little jet. He had to find some cover right away. Flying low over a hayfield, JJ spotted an old red barn that looked ideal. With the hail coming down harder, he landed, then scooted for shelter. The barn was a good idea, but there was one problem. It was filled with large bales of hay. Only JJ's head and wings fit inside, leaving his rear end exposed to the stinging hailstones. As his eyes adjusted to the dim light inside the barn, JJ saw that he wasn't the only one seeking shelter. Two farmhands, dressed in identical red plaid shirts and blue overalls, peeked over the hay bales and looked at JJ in amazement. JJ thought he was seeing double. With hailstones pelting his behind, the little jet forced a smile and introduced himself.
Hello, I'm JJ.
I'm Harry,
One of the farmhands said.
I'm Larry,
Said the other. Then together they said,
We're twins.
Moments later, almost as suddenly as it started, the hail stopped. Harry and Larry guided JJ out of the barn. Harry studied the little brown jet and said,
Looks like you got a few dings and scrapes on your rear end. Yeah, a few dings and scrapes,
echoed Larry.
Nothing a little sanding and fresh paint can't fix,
Harry said. JJ was in a fix. He couldn't go home all banged up. Everyone would know he'd gone flying without permission.
Anyone around here who can patch me up?
Asked JJ.
You're looking at 'em,
Harry said proudly.
We can fix anything. We'll have you fixed up in no time flat,
Said Larry.
Yep, in no time flat.
Agreed Harry. The tinkering twins wasted no time. To smooth out the nicks and scratches, Harry sanded JJ's tail and rear fuselage. Then Larry applied a fresh coat of paint. Since all the work was being done behind JJ, he couldn't see what was happening. And that was unfortunate, because instead of matching JJ's brown paint, Larry used blue. As JJ took off for home, he had no way of knowing that he was now a two-toned plane. Brown in front, blue in the back. JJ raced for home as fast as he could. As he approached Tarrytown Airport, he believed that his secret outing would remain a secret. He also thought that his paint had been restored to normal by his new pals, Harry and Larry. JJ landed on a secluded field behind the Easy Airlines hangar. Quietly, he approached the hangar from the rear and peeked around the corner. At that instant, Herky shot straight up from the ground right in front of JJ's face. Herky was surprised, but it scared the wits out of JJ. The startled helicopter whirled around like a spinning top, stared at his friend's strange colors, and cried,
Whoa, JJ, I love the new look. Woo!
JJ had no idea what Herky was talking about. Standing at the head of the runway, Easy O'Malley watched as the two-tone plane drew near.
Great day for flying, isn't it, Mr. O'Malley?
JJ said with a nervous laugh. The airline owner studied the little jet's silly paint job and asked,
Anything you need to tell me about, JJ?
Tell you about? No, can't think of anything in particular,
JJ stammered.
Just wondering if anything unusual happened lately,
Easy O'Malley said. JJ felt he had to say something.
Oh, yes,
He chirped.
I saw a big, beautiful rainbow this morning.
JJ, let's change today's routine a little bit.
Easy O'Malley said.
As a warm-up, I want you to fly out to Lightning Bug Lake, then come right back.
Sure thing, Mr. O'Malley,
JJ said. Then, heaving a sigh of relief, he sped down the runway thinking he had gotten away with his secret rainbow chase. As the two-tone jet sailed over Lightning Bug Lake, he looked down and saw his reflection in the water.
Oh, no,
JJ cried. For the first time, he saw that Harry and Larry had used the wrong paint color. JJ turned and headed for home with a dreadful, sinking feeling in his heart. He knew he should have told the truth. When JJ landed at Tarrytown Airport, he saw Easy O'Malley, Brenda Blue, and Big Jake waiting for him in front of the hangar, and they didn't look very happy. Brenda was holding a paintbrush and a large bucket of blue paint. As he rolled to a stop, Easy O'Malley said,
JJ, don't you think you better tell us what really happened today?
JJ wished he had told the truth to begin with.
And by the way,
Easy O'Malley added,
I hope you like that new blue color. We're all out of your regular paint.
Late that afternoon, JJ told Big Jake all about his strange day.
I really made a mistake, didn't I?
JJ said with a sigh. Big Jake looked at the little blue jet with understanding.
It's never a good idea to take off without telling anyone, JJ. It's dangerous, and we worry when we don't know where you are.
I know it was wrong, said JJ, but I feel even worse about not telling the truth. I guess I thought nobody would know.
But as you found out today, when you don't tell the truth, it almost always shows, Big Jake said.
From now on, said the little jet, my honesty will never be questioned.
How's that?
Asked Big Jake.
Well, one look at me and you can tell right away that I'm true blue.
One crisp autumn day in the blue skies over Tarrytown Valley, a train of 7 Canadian geese were sailing south toward their winter home. From inside the hangar at Tarrytown Airport, old Oscar admired the grace and beauty of the birds in flight. None of the other planes at Easy Airlines noticed. They were too excited about what was happening on the ground. In a few moments, Easy O'Malley would announce the winner of the Why I Want to Fly in an Airplane contest. The planes gathered round the control tower, where Easy O'Malley stood holding the hand of a little girl.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce Jennifer, the winner of our contest,
The airline owner said.
And as our winner, she gets to fly in any plane she chooses.
All the planes smiled their most charming smile for Jennifer. Each hoped to be the one that she would choose. Big Jake thought he would be picked because he was the biggest and strongest.
I can take her higher than any of the others,
He reasoned.
Surely she'll choose me.
JJ thought he'd be chosen because he was a little plane, just the right size for Jennifer.
None of the others can do a double backward somersault,
He said to himself.
She's bound to pick me.
Tracy thought that Jennifer would probably want to fly in a little girl plane.
We have the most in common, Tracy told herself, and Jennifer will love my cartwheels. I know she'll pick me.
Herky was sure he would be selected because he could do all kinds of neat tricks.
She'll have lots of fun flying with me, he thought.
Snuffy believed that he'd be the one because with him, Jennifer could write messages in the sky to all her friends. And Savannah was certain that she'd be picked. After all, she was the fastest, most famous plane in the fleet. Jennifer had to make a tough decision. Each of the planes had something special to offer. She studied all their faces, then turned and pointed toward the hangar where old Oscar was taking a nap.
There's the plane I want to fly in,
Jennifer said. Old Oscar was right in the middle of a pleasant dream. And in his dream, which seemed very real, he was leading a grand parade of airplanes through the sky. All of a sudden, JJ's voice echoed in his head like an alarm bell.
Oscar, wake up, wake up!
The antique plane opened his eyes with a start, and what he saw was alarming. All the other planes were rushing toward him. He didn't know what to think.
Congratulations, Oscar,
JJ cried.
You've been picked by the winner of the contest.
Contest? What contest?
Old Oscar was confused.
Well, what happened to the parade?
Parade?
Said JJ.
What parade?
Never mind,
muttered the old biplane.
I must have been dreaming.
Old Oscar felt like a beloved king as he was escorted to the head of the runway. Perched in his cockpit was Jennifer, who sat on a pillow so that she could see over the top of the instrument panel. Old Oscar was delighted to be the plane that Jennifer picked. Just before taking off, he looked at Savannah and winked.
I guess it's age before beauty this time, eh, Savannah?
Then the spry old-timer revved his engine, chugged down the runway, and took off for the sky. As the other planes watched old Oscar circle the airport, JJ said,
Big Jake, why do you think Jennifer wanted to fly with old Oscar?
I couldn't tell you, JJ, Big Jake said. I thought she was going to pick me.
That's funny, said JJ. I thought she was going to pick me.
Snuffy watched as old Oscar arced over the valley.
Mr. O'Malley, he said, I think all of us would like to hear Jennifer's winning essay.
Easy O'Malley held up a tape recorder.
Well, since Jennifer was too young to write her essay, she recorded it on tape, he said.
He switched on the recorder, and instantly Jennifer's voice was heard loud and clear.
Ever since I was small as could be, I knew just what I wanted to see. I would dream of the wide open sky, and of what it would feel like to fly, to soar like a bird in the air, and to see what she sees from up there. Mountain peaks, open spaces, and lots of nice places I always have wished I could share with the birds and the planes in the air. To float like a bright butterfly, to pop through a cloud and say hi. I'd stay up here till late, but my dinner won't wait, so I'd finally come down with a sigh. So that's why I hope, that's why I dream, that's why I want to fly.
After a few moments of silence, JJ said,
Gee, it makes you feel lucky to be an airplane, doesn't it?
You know, said Big Jake, sometimes we take our everyday lives for granted, and we don't see the beauty all around us. Often I fly too high to even see the ground.
I know what you mean, said Savannah. Sometimes I go too fast to even notice what's around me.
Each of us should stop and smell the roses every day, even if you can't smell very well,
sniffled Snuffy, who was having trouble with his allergies.
Wise old Oscar always talks about enjoying the wonders of nature, Tracy said. You know what? I think that's the reason Jennifer wanted to fly with him.
Just then, old Oscar breezed in for a pinpoint landing. Pulling to a stop in front of the hangar, he smiled and said,
Now that was some fine flying, if I do say so myself.
All the other planes gathered around.
Thanks, Oscar, Jennifer said. You were wonderful. That's exactly what I wanted.
My pleasure, Jennifer, old Oscar said. In fact, I feel so good I could fly all day.
Well, what are we waiting for? JJ said. It's a great day to fly.
Right, said Snuffy. We want to get into the fun too.
Remembering his dream, old Oscar said,
Sounds like we got the makings of an air parade.
Well, let's go, cried Herky as he shot straight up from the ground. Oscar, you lead the way.
For the rest of the day, just like in his dream, old Oscar led the whole gang on a grand air parade through the skies over Tarrytown Valley. And all the planes thought about how lucky they were to be able to fly like the birds. Just before daybreak, Snuffy was getting ready for a very busy day. Most days the little Skyrider didn't mind a busy schedule, even with his annoying allergies. But today was different. It was his birthday, and he had hoped to have a party.
They probably forgot all about it,
Snuffy thought.
Maybe I should remind them.
When Easy O'Malley gave him the day's flight plan, Snuffy asked,
Do you know what today is?
Why, it's Saturday, Snuffy. Saturday, September the 4th.
What I mean is, isn't there something special about today?
Indeed there is, Snuffy. Yes, sirree, there is.
Easy O'Malley said.
There's special occasions all over the region, and you, son, will be part of them all.
A dreamy orange sunrise glowed behind low-lying clouds as Snuffy arced over Tarrytown Valley. It was a lovely sight, but he hardly noticed. Snuffy was feeling too downhearted. Here he was, all alone on his birthday. His eyes began to water, and his nose began to drip.
These confounded allergies are worse than ever,
Snuffy told himself. He didn't want to admit that his tears were tears of sadness. Alone in the stillness of the soft morning light, he sailed across the pale purple mountains and veered west. Snuffy's first assignment was at the pretty port town of Sandy Landing. He glided along the gently curving coastline until he spotted a majestic cruise ship docked at the pier. Snuffy went right to work. In the bright blue sky above the ship, he wrote in big white letters, "Bon voyage," which means, "Have a pleasant trip." Snuffy heard the people cheering, and that made him feel good. Dipping low over the boat, he could see the happy passengers looking up at him. He gave them a broad smile, tipped his wing, and then sped away. From Sandy Landing on the west coast, Snuffy headed north to Carson Falls. It didn't take him long to spot the birthday party at City Park. He circled the picnic area, and just above the party full of gleeful children, he wrote, "Happy Birthday, Billy." Snuffy looked down and saw the children's sunny faces looking up at him. Their smiles and their giggles made him feel warm inside. From the birthday party in Carson Falls, Snuffy headed east for the big city of Peabody. On the way, he thought about his own birthday, and he wondered why no one remembered it. Before long, he was flying over Peabody Stadium, home of his favorite baseball team, the Peabody Tigers. He circled low to get a good look, and as luck would have it, the home team was at bat. Snuffy quickly went to work. In the sky just above the center field fence, he wrote in bright yellow letters, "Go Tigers!" The moment he finished, there was a loud, ringing crack of the bat, followed by a deafening roar. Snuffy looked down and was amazed to see the baseball whizzing up toward him. Speeding by within inches of his nose, the ball sailed out of the stadium for a colossal home run. Snuffy was delighted that he brought his team good luck. And as he dipped low for a final pass over the ballpark, he thought he heard the crowd chanting his name. Although his official duties were done and the hour was getting late, Snuffy decided to make one more call. Whenever he had time, he made a special run to the Children's Hospital in Ridgeway. As was his custom, Snuffy circled the hospital several times, beeping his horn to announce his arrival. As soon as he saw the children's eager little faces pressed against the windows, he raced up into the sky and wrote, "Get well soon. Love, Snuffy." Then he framed the whole message with a big red heart. Snuffy could see the children smiling, and their smiles melted his heart. By the time Snuffy left Ridgeway, it was already dusk. As he cruised homeward through the vast twilight, he thought about everything that had happened. He thought about the happiness he had brought to so many people, especially the little children in the hospital. He thought about the way they smiled at him and the unforgettable sparkle in their eyes. He realized that their happiness had made him happy, and he felt good inside.
It's fun to do nice things for people,
Snuffy thought.
You know, this hasn't been such a bad birthday after all.
Thousands of twinkling stars danced in the night sky as Snuffy neared Tarrytown Airport. He saw the beacon light cutting through the darkness, then the runway lights on the ground. As he landed and taxied toward the hangar, the airport seemed strangely deserted. Then, all of a sudden, there was a burst of brilliant white light, and for a split second, Snuffy was blinded. When his eyes adjusted, he saw a bank of floodlights shining on a huge banner draped across the front of the hangar. And on it, written in giant letters, were the words, "Happy Birthday, Snuffy." Out of nowhere, all the other planes rushed out to greet him, and every one of them was wearing a snazzy party hat. "Surprise!" they all yelled at once, and confetti rained down from the control tower until all of them were covered in tiny paper specks of orange and green and yellow and pink. Snuffy smiled from wing to wing. "Gee," he said with a sniffle, "I thought nobody remembered."
No way we'd forget your birthday, Snuffy, Tracy said. We just wanted to surprise you, said JJ.
We're your family, Snuffy. We'd never forget,
said Big Jake, who looked very silly in his little party hat.
That's right, said old Oscar. We never forget.
I love all of you very, very much, Snuffy said. And don't any of you ever forget that.
Then, batting away tears of joy, he said,
I really must do something about these old allergies.
Tracy was working harder than she had ever worked in her life. In only 2 days, she would compete in the Junior Olympics with the best young planes in the world. Her event, the 10-mile sky slalom, was a demanding test of speed and balance across a tricky, twisting obstacle course of buoys, rings, and hurdles. With the help of Herky and Snuffy, Tracy trained every day from sunrise to sunset. All the hard work kept Tracy's mind off of Savannah, her dearest friend who had been away from Tarrytown for almost 2 weeks on a business trip. But in those still autumn nights, just before the Sandman tiptoed across her weary eyelids, Tracy would think about Savannah and about how much she missed her. And in her dreams each night, she and Savannah were together again. And life was an endless summer, light-hearted and carefree as a butterfly on the wing. At daybreak the next morning, Snuffy was already drawing Tracy's obstacle course in the skies over Tarrytown Airport. It was Tracy's last chance to practice before the big meet, which was now only 1 day away. She rolled to the starting line at the head of the runway. Coach Herky hovered directly overhead, barking last-minute instructions.
Don't forget sharper turns at the right side buoys, he said. And keep your nose up on that last set of rings.
Easy O'Malley held a stopwatch to time Tracy's run. JJ, Big Jake, and old Oscar came out to cheer her on. Herky counted down the start of Tracy's race against the clock.
The 3, 2, 1.
Kablam! Herky made himself backfire with so much force, he tumbled forward like a tumbleweed in a wind tunnel. Following her coach's instructions, Tracy flew brilliantly. She zigged and zagged. She zagged and zigged. She executed steep climbs that ended in hairpin turns and daring dives that required precision timing. At lightning speed, she swerved through the final ring, then turned sharply and raced downward for a landing. Tracy's friends cheered as she streaked across the finish line. Easy O'Malley clicked the stopwatch and called out,
4 minutes, 8 seconds.
It was Tracy's best time ever, and just 5 seconds off the record.
Great run, Tracy, cried JJ. You were terrific.
Best run I've ever seen,
clucked old Oscar.
And by golly, I've seen quite a few.
Big Jake smiled at Tracy.
Looks like all that hard work has paid off, he said.
Thanks, Big Jake. I just hope I can come out a winner.
Tracy, you're already a winner, he said. And no matter what happens tomorrow, it'll be a wonderful day you'll always remember.
Tomorrow will be a wonderful day, Tracy said. It's the day Savannah comes home.
Hundreds of spectators jammed into Paralympic Stadium the next day to watch the world's most talented young planes compete. 15 minutes before a race, Tracy peeked out from the ramp at the north end of the stadium. She had never seen so many people in one place. It seemed to her that the whole world was there. The only one missing was Savannah. A few minutes later, as Tracy waited for the start of her race, Coach Herky provided a few last-second words of encouragement.
You can do it, Tracy. Remember, just stay focused. Just do what you've been doing in practice, and you can't miss.
All Tracy had to say was,
I wish Savannah was here.
in the broadcast booth high atop the stadium, television reporters were covering the event for a nationwide audience.
Welcome back, folks. This is Early Gaines along with Erica Zepp. We're down to the final contestant in the exciting 10-mile sky slalom. That's right, Early. Her name is Tracy. She's representing Easy Airlines, and she's wearing the number 6. Well, she's certainly got her work cut out for her today, Erica. No doubt about it, Early. The leader in this event has set a new world record of 4 minutes flat.
As she waited at the starting line, Tracy tried to concentrate on the race, but all she could think about was Savannah. Unfortunately, before she could refocus her thoughts, the countdown began over the loudspeakers. 3, 2, 1, kaboom! The countdown was abruptly interrupted by a thundering blast that shook the stadium to its rafters. A streaking plane passed overhead. It was Savannah making a grand entrance.
She's here! She's here!
Tracy shouted. By the time Tracy launched herself at the starting line, she was tingling with excitement. The thrill of seeing Savannah propelled her to a higher level of performance. It was a magic moment. Somehow she was flying faster than ever before, with more confidence than ever before, with more balance and grace. Everything she did came effortlessly. Tracy was flying the greatest race of her life. Up in the broadcast booth, Early Gaines and Erica Zepp were impressed.
2 minutes flat at the halfway mark, Erica. She's got a shot at the record. And what a surprise she is, Early. Tracy the Jet Plane. Remember that name, folks. She's a star on the rise.
Tracy knew she was flying the race of her life. Approaching the final obstacles, she gave it everything she had, then sprinted for the finish line. Early Gaines and Erica Zepp called the finish of the race.
Wow, Early, what a performance by Tracy. She came in at 4 minutes 1 second, Erica. Just 1 second behind the new record holder. That's good enough for second place, Early, and it means that Tracy wins a silver medal.
As she rolled to the sidelines, all of Tracy's friends were there to congratulate her.
You were wonderful, Tracy,
JJ cried. As usual, Herky hovered above the crowd.
Way to go, Tracy. You made your coach very proud.
All of us are proud of you, Tracy,
Big Jake said. Then from behind the crowd, a soft southern voice said, "Yes, very proud indeed." The crowd parted, and there was Savannah smiling sweetly at Tracy. Bursting with joy, they rolled toward each other.
Gee,
Tracy said with a sigh,
this would have been a perfect day if only I had won.
Savannah gave her an adoring look and said,
Tracy, you may not have finished first, but look at what you accomplished. You should feel very proud.
Tracy thought for a moment, then said to all her friends,
Savannah's right. You don't have to finish first to feel like a winner. All that hard work and practice helped me fly better than I ever dreamed possible. And you know what? I feel like a winner because all of you were here to cheer for me. Without you, none of this would have happened, and none of it would have mattered. Best of all, my very dearest friend in the world was here too. This is the happiest day of my life.